I'm here to teach y'all how I draw backgrounds and settings. But I'm not even gonna yap too long. We just gonna get right into it. But first, you gotta get in the ring.
Can't say how I'm feeling inside. I wanna be serious, but got too much pride. I wanna be serious, but I'm really here. Don't really like here, but I tell you I tried. I done did everything else but cry. I done smoke all my weed, young nigga on fried. You can see all this shit in my eyes.
Actually, live. Before we get started with this drawing tutorial, or whatever I said I was gonna do, you gotta like and subscribe. You gotta show me some support. You gotta let everybody know you watch this video, man. Come on now. I'm not finna lose your attention. I need you to read my comic E-Kings on Webtoon. I work hard on it. It's free. You can read it for free. Like the video, subscribe, comment. But yeah, so since I don't have my Apple Pencil, you'll just have to draw with me traditionally. And I don't really know how I'll start it or how this will go, but it's nice to have a little warm-up drawing session just to start the day off. Now, if you are new to the channel, welcome. I don't really try to do too much of my videos because I want to have people just be here and enjoy the artwork, you know what I mean? But if you would like more curation for my videos, let me know in the comments. But anyway, whether you're drawing with me or just here to watch or listen or have me in the background, I'm glad you're here. I don't know what I'll draw yet, but usually we'll leave this video with something. But I guess the best thing for me to do is just, some warm-ups. I don't typically do like warm-ups when I draw, but it can help. I think maybe out of like my remote fell, my PS5 controller fell. Anyway, now I guess like out of the fundamentals that I use to draw, perspective and form, I guess maybe my favorites. So like if you look at my art, those two things are the type of stuff I play with, like the line art or shapes, perspective. I try to really play to those strengths. One thing I have done is make like cubes or like 3D objects and kind of put them on a string, and then like the perspective will increase. Well, not increase, their size will. Remember, they're still on that string. And usually when you're drawing, the shapes you're gonna use the most is like cubes and spheres and rods. I didn't put any rods on here, I probably should have. Just reminding yourself how 3D forms work is typically the best way to get started on a drawing. And sometimes the things you don't want to draw might be the things that help you level up. Like back in the day, I really hated depicting, like just drawing scenes of anything. I would only draw characters. I never do backgrounds or like props or anything like that. I did not like drawing settings because to me it felt different than actual characters, until I had to come to realize that the setting is a character itself. If I treat all the things I draw like actual entities, then it will be no different. And so now I can actually, draw scenes that I enjoy and put my little imagination into it, just add to whatever I like, Like right here, just drawing a booth. Yeah, a booth. Like here. I haven't made my 2-point perspective video. I apologize. Y'all might be waiting on that, or maybe not. I truly don't know. I think for this drawing, I might have the horizon line too high. If I made it lower, then it'd probably make the restaurant seem smaller. Or maybe this is decent. I set up some more tables so that doesn't look so empty. Just kind of building a new scene. But placing objects like in perspective, I still have to get better at that, especially when it comes to like chairs and stuff. Cause like the eye line for this chair doesn't even make no sense, bro. Like the scale of this chair don't even make no sense. But it's nice to just make a little cool scene and see what happens. Maybe I add some plates. Maybe I put like a little cake right here. Candle. Maybe I put a tray here. What are they eating? I haven't really said so. But if you're still watching, let me know what you're listening to in the comments. And if you've read any of Eat Kings, tell me what your favorite part is or who your favorite character is. Each chapter gets better by the entry, so I do suggest reading it. But it does mean that when you reread it, it's like, oh, this is rough. But you can tell I'm slowly getting more comfortable with storytelling and figure out where I want to go. So I really do suggest you read my comic. It's free anyway. Why not read it? But update me on how your warm-up is going. I'm still building this scene up, and it's not going so bad. Even if the perspective is a bit off, in my opinion. Or maybe it's just fine. Maybe I could add some more tables and chairs to not make it seem so weird. Could be like a little food court or something. Drink machine. A good tip for when you're drawing things in perspective, utilizing the aspect of values can really help you out. So, like for instance, I've darkened the booth here, and now it actually looks like an element that's within the foreground. It's easier to distinguish the depth of the things you're drawing. And you can even use that emphasis to kind of shift the focus of the drawing as well. So keeping those things in mind can really help out how a piece turns out. But the booths by themselves, it's actually pretty cool to draw. Like sometimes I actually start to enjoy drawing scenes more than people, because it's like once you start to learn more about anatomy and like how bad you are at it, it's like, oh my God, there's more work to put in. Because I'll just approximate a human form and slap it down. But with these like objects, I can just draw a bunch of lines that imply a shape and people will understand it. It's like easier to build. So don't shy away from drawing scenes and backgrounds. Like it'll seem really tedious and boring at first, but eventually it's peaceful because it's like I don't even have to really think about what's here. I just need to fill a space with a bunch of objects and make sure it adheres to the perspective. That's all. But with people, stop that. But with people, it's like, okay, I have to figure out how the weight shifts and can the joint move this way and how do all these things fit together when this happens. It's like, it's so much to consider. And I used to love drawing only people. Even now I kind of enjoy it, but I'm slacking in that aspect. Right now I'm listening to Daniel Caesar, but I think I'll change it. Maybe listen to Sir. I'll listen to Destin Conrad. Most of what I listen to is gonna be like a lot of R&B or like neo soul or like funk music. Anything, honestly, I wouldn't really even say like R&B is probably just the best umbrella to put it all under as the stuff I listen to. A lot of like softer tone music too. Now, let's call this the food court. And let's build a new scene. I didn't really expect for this video to become what could be like, oh, how to draw backgrounds, because that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm just building scenes, but it's working. This time, let's utilize a doorway. clear horizon line, clear top. And all I gotta do is fill this hall with some crazy stuff. Maybe add the hinge into the door. I have it just slightly cracked. Then I just shade that center in. Half cracked door. Barely even thinking about it, just putting lines down so it'll make sense. I'm probably supposed to be like a lot more entertaining and talkative, but oddly enough, when I draw, it's probably when I'm the most quiet. Because I'm having to listen to what I have to listen to my goals when I draw. I guess that's the best way to put it. If I start talking, I could lose track of what I'm really going for. Maybe put like family photos up or something. Maybe like a dresser here. That way it feels like a home that's actually lived in, because you don't want it to be boring. Make that like a cabinet. And then, but see, my biggest issue when I draw is like, bro, I won't even like establish a light source. I'll just add a bunch of cross hatching for the aesthetic, and that's like one of my biggest. It's like one of my biggest drawing misdeeds, I guess. I would call it a sin, but it's not like a misdeed. It's a misservice to myself, you know. Because it's like you just start putting down a bunch of random lines, and now it's not consistent, and you ruin the illusion of what you're trying to depict, you know. But like, you see how easy it is to like build these different scenes, different perspective methods, and I didn't even touch the grids. Granted, I'm not saying y'all are gonna do that. Like, obviously, if you start trying to establish your own backgrounds and such, you're gonna need to put down perspective lines, and I probably should have as well to better perfect these drawings. But I'm just going in blind and seeing what I can make. Y'all are gonna have to actually build a real perspective grid. You're gonna have to establish a horizon line, place a vanishing point, start adding lines that you have to make sure they go through the vanishing point. Well, that one didn't, but you get the message. Maybe add some vertical lines for depth, some other horizontal ones. Like, it really does get treacherous. Like, you see how that looks? It looks like a bunch of lines, I know, but it's supposed to be a perspective. But I never really utilized like y-axis stuff when I start doing perspective grids. I don't push it that far. Once you start to, I guess, play with like, you know, values, I'd say also emphasis. You can't see that. Values, emphasis, and also composition. Like, that's such an underutilized, but very, I wouldn't say influential, but it's something that people may not always consider when they draw, is how to make sure that the eye can just look at an image and already know what it's looking at before a person even realizes. Like, it's easier to just look at something and be like, okay, that's a teddy bear, instead of having to search the image for what it is, you know? They can just look at it and be like, oh, that's a bear. Maybe I could add lines pointing to the bear very subtly. I could add a box around the face, maybe even frame speech bubbles in a way where the bear's face is like framed. Like, there's a lot of ways you can compose an image to make sure that the main focus will be the first thing seen, thus having the most influence. So like, maybe for instance, maybe a statue of a person. I draw people so funny, bro. It's not even. A statue of a guy. My characters don't be having foreheads, and that is kind of an issue. Let's say you just got a statue of a guy. Just say this is a statue. I could add emphasis by like improving the line weight, so I better outline them. Go in further some. Go up, Just give them a thicker outline. Sometimes when like your drawings don't work, the best thing you can do is honestly just add some better line weight. Because like I said, it's really not even like about what you draw, it's just how you draw it. Sometimes you just need some better line weight, and that'll make your drawings look even more dynamic. Like, you see, I already added a thicker emphasis on like his body, and it looks like a far better drawing than it did before, just with these lines established. And I can maybe like add a little grid in the back, like for the background, Maybe I add like things people have put on the statue to commemorate it, like a wreath. Maybe even like an adornment, like a crown. And if I really wanted to push it, like add some foreground elements, I could like add a hanging wreath here. Kinda, you know what I'm saying? But then I just have to really thicken the lines for this foreground object to show how close it is. And then I'd also just darken it. Maybe I add another that goes this way. Do you still think they're wreaths? Because they don't really look much like them anymore. They just look like random tubes. I mean, you just thicken the line some more. Some cross hatching. There. I should probably thicken the line some more and actually take my time, but it's just like a little quick demonstration. But if you want like background elements, you just kind of keep it light, not too defined. Maybe there's like a table in the back, like a little altar for the statue. I had to stop for a second. I think to do the little last part of this video, we're just gonna do like a bigger panel to even do another little scene. But before that, I also just want to like add some like stuff here, just to kind of put it together some more. Sometimes you don't even really need to depict things. You just need to kind of imply it with like the direction of the lines and like the vague shapes you depict. Like, cause this is probably a curtain. I just have to use lighter lines to make sure that you will know this in the farthest back. Maybe the table has like offerings on it. Oh, hold on. I don't even have my mic in. You're probably hearing just like a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. How are you all? Do you see how like I just built a scene so easy? And all I did was just add stuff. I just let my mind go anywhere. But let's say for this one, I want to do like a street corner. Yeah, add like a sign. I'm kind of new to this, so don't make me fun of me. We'll do like a stop sign. Stop signs are octagons, right? Yeah, I can't draw an octagon. That's vaguely the right shape. And then you'll have it going this way. We'll put a hand on it instead. And then it's like clearly I do not know how infrastructure works because I just placed a random sign in the middle of a sidewalk. Like, bro, what am I doing? Put like a little doormat here. Introduce you to like a cool shop. Opens up around. See how I'm already building something far greater and all I've done is add like a few lines. It's fun work, man. Hi guys. For me, it's been like, what? Give or take a day. But for you, it's been like a jump cut. But I'm back. I wanted to finish this little background space and maybe do another, so I could kind of show you how I do my settings and such. And if you are, if you still be here on my videos, you probably get it by now. Like, none of these are like planned the best. But I don't want to keep that up for too long where I just record something and put it on the internet. So I do want to start actually making sure I plan some of these things out. Like even just the loose drawing sessions, so they at least have a structure and I can adhere to. Because sometimes I just sit down and record and don't even know what video I'm gonna make. I just know I at least need to show you something. But here we are. I think I don't really know where I want to start or where I want to go yet. And I don't want to mess that up. That's a chisel. Here's a 0.3 I can use. I don't know what else I could add. I could add like a trash can here. I don't know if I sound better or worse without the mic, but to be honest, I heard some of the footage and I was like, I sound better without the mic, ironically enough. So we're not gonna use it until I can get a better one. But I could put a trash can here. Just cause. Kind of like put a bag over it. Maybe there's trash and I could also maybe kind of give some definition to whatever this store could be. Add a window here. Now, in the beginning, my issue with my perspective and my like settings and such is that they were always so flat because I'd be drawing like buildings and things front on. If you want your drawings to look more dynamic, what you need to do is kind of avoid doing that. Not because it's like bad or you shouldn't, because it's too easy and it won't require you to kind of move things around in your mind's eye. Because if you keep trying to draw things just straight on, well, you don't have to do much pondering or thinking or planning or, I guess, speculation. But if you kind of draw objects in strange angles, it gets you better at being able to rotate things in your mind, tackling uncomfortable and complex angles. So like with a store like this, I could have just done like let me draw like a smaller panel to give you an idea of what I mean. I could just drawn door, this. Matter of fact, you've probably seen in like one of my old sketchbook tours, like the perspective drawings I make and how like flat they'd be. They just look like this. Well, it's probably a little better than how they used to look, but instead of going with this angle, I could go with the one here, where I actually, display something more dynamic, interesting to look at, pleasing to the eye. But if you have enjoyed this so far, let me know how your drawing is turning out, I guess. And if you need any pointers or you're working on it and you're not sure how to progress, you can just join the Discord. I know I don't really be active in there, I'll be honest, because I have school and stuff. But like, if you tag me in it and ask for some advice, I could offer it. But I also don't. My Discord isn't even modded, so be wary of that. It's just people sending artwork in there. Nothing too crazy. I should probably take more visits, to be honest with you all. Sometimes what you need is just kind of values. So if you're drawn, if you have all the lines laid out for a drawing and it still kind of looks boring, remember, maybe your line art's too weak. Line art weak. And no values. That could be it. Because once you start adding values like shade and highlights or tint or just cross hatching, and then you kind of increase the line weight, you'll have a better result. And you can even use those hand in hand. Don't look at my fingers too much. But you could do those hand in hand and yield an even more impressive result. So in spaces like these that are the most hot, cross-hatched, the most dark, I'll just kind of thicken the lines there to really show off this is in an area that's hard to reach by sunlight. You'll probably even notice in manga or just cartoons in general that's a technique that they'll employ. They'll darken the areas they'll thicken the lines or kind of add more weight to them in areas where it's darker and lighten them up when there's a lot of light present. Just kind of figuring out the balance between what technique you use in this scenario to convince people of the illusion of the artwork, you'll usually turn out fine. Because remember, this is all essentially just an elaborate magic act. I said elaborate. It's an elaborate magic act. You're essentially trying to convince the viewer that what they're looking at is an object. Well, not an object. It depends on what the subject is. But you're looking at a space that is three-dimensional. And so that's what these techniques are for. It's not necessarily even to make your drawings better. I mean, they are, duh. But it's to further reinforce the illusion that what you're drawing is a three-dimensional space. But once you know those rules, you can kind of warp them in a way where it's well, I'm not trying to depict 3 dimensions. I want this to look as flat as possible. And that way, knowing those rules, you know exactly what to do to make sure things look flat, 2-dimensional, more interesting. So that's why, when they say, know the rules before you break them, it's exactly that. Because people will start to notice the things you do intentionally, and they'll love that even more. I know I haven't done much drawing for this like I said I would. I mostly just came here to yap some more and give you some more advice. I hope that's cool with y'all. I'll probably place a little alley here. Just something crazy. Maybe place a dumpster. Give that some depth. And also, make sure you just go out and look at stuff, experience the world. Just go outside. It'll build your visual library and it'll be able to kind of better build spaces. Because you're essentially just taking everything you already know about the world and putting it on a page. You do that every time. At least that's how it works for me. But so far, it's not that bad. But I would say that dumpster looks a little odd, but it's passable. I don't think people would notice too well, but I still wouldn't give it too much grace. Kind of add some lines for the road, some cross hatching for the sidewalk. And I know my pen drawings probably don't look as neat as your favorite artist does. But I kind of have fun when I allow them to be messy. I think once I allowed my artwork to be messy, I was able to actually have more fun and actually allow myself to grow and learn until I could make drawings that aren't as messy. But just allowing yourself to be free, it yields for an artwork that's a lot more. It yields for an artwork that's a lot more fulfilling, especially just to look at. So I'd recommend it. Just allowing your sketchbook to be a messy place where you can kind of just put whatever on it. That's why I even started writing in my sketchbooks. Like at first I was like, bro, no words in there. But nah, your art can be especially just a way to take notes. So I recommend it. Maybe we'll add some like trash on the ground here. And even sometimes the behavior of lines by themselves can kind of dictate the behavior of whatever you're drawing. So like, technically what I'm doing is a form of hatching, but it's a zigzag hatching. I do it sometimes even in my comic as well. Like I don't want to keep the hatching I do for like my artwork uniform and like the same, because sometimes I want to use regular hatching, cross hatching, and even sometimes it's zigzag hatching. I don't know if other people do it as well, but sometimes I do it whenever like I'm trying to like really show something dense, I guess. Or in this case, like just an area that's pretty devoid of light. Make those windows seem more vacant. Like, yeah, there could be a big space behind them, but you don't get to see that. But I should probably darken this alley some as well, to really give the impression that it's just off in the corner in the dark. Kind of make some lines that way to, and what I've done here is I've done some like more diagonal horizontal lines to show that this is the ground. So even just by changing the direction of your hatching, you can help improve how space looks three-dimensional. So if that's something you may be struggling with or you had trouble on, that could be a way that you could be helped out. It's just a little tip, something to aid you out. And like, I know I always say this in my videos, but I didn't expect it to turn out pretty decent. But I guess it's like, once you allow yourself to be bad and you actually decide to push forward whatever strange ideas you have about a drawing, you can let it flourish. You just gotta be, you can't be scared to put more ink on the paper. Sometimes you're just gonna have to. Like, that's really how it comes. And if you're just here to watch, you're not here to like draw or learn anything. Have you drawn today at all? And if you have, let me know in the comments what you drew. You know, because when I was growing up, most of what I draw is like maybe characters from shows I really loved, people I knew, like characters I made up for stories I wanted to write. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'd watch. And honestly, this new trend of stuff that I draw now, like I really like drawing something as like a main subject and adding a smaller panel and just doing like a different perspective on the thing I'm drawing. Like it's probably like kind of ridiculous, but I really like it for some reason. Like, could I really draw this in a way that is accurate to what I just did? But in terms of scale, it makes it seem odd when I change the perspective, because like now I got a really tall stop sign just placed in front. If anything, it's literally smack dab in front of the door, so I don't even have it correct. It's actually right here. I had to stand up and lock in the shot. And then here you probably have like the alley. Like I said, if you let your sketches just be kind of messy, a little bad, you can get your ideas down. Once you're more confident in your ideas, your pen strokes will be a lot neater without even having to plan. Because it's like, you can see the pen pass. I guess that's what I call it. Like, when I draw, especially when I'm trying to keep it, you know, as neat as I can kind of see the pass I need to take with my pen. But other times, if I don't have an inherent goal, I'm just putting lines down until I like what I see, and then I know what to build on from there. So it's like, it depends on if I came in with a plan or not. But I think, honestly, I'll stop here. I like what I see. Let me find a blue pen. I knew I had a blue pen. And I think what I'll write is I don't even know if I'll have like enough space. All right, we accept I wrote, we accept EBT at the bottom. The crazy thing is, nobody else is going to get that except my siblings. So, and I'm not going to explain it either. But anyway, bye. That guy's pretty crazy, ain't he? I hope that y'all enjoyed the little session. If you didn't learn anything, I hope you at least enjoyed watching me draw. But if you did learn something, tell me what's something that helped you out that you didn't realize you needed before. And also, I'm actually not going to hold you too long. Just make sure you read my comic E-Kings on Webtoon, and make sure to get active on my socials. But besides that, you gotta make your daily duty. So I'm not gonna hold you no more. But make sure you get in the green.
Honestly, go. Can't say how I'm feeling inside. I wanna be sales, but got too much pride. I wanna be sales, but I'm really hip. Don't really like hip, but I tell you I tried. I done did everything else but cry. I done smoke all my weed, young nigga on fried. You can see all this shit in my